Welcome to Living on Crypto with me, Lawrence Ray from Bitrefill. Today I'm joined by Rux, aka Alex Gomez, a man who is in Madeira and has been in England, been around a little bit, and is in the Bitcoin scene. Pleasure to have you here. Today we're going to talk about, of course, living on crypto, amongst other things. How are you doing today, Rux?
Pleasure to meet you, Lawrence. Thank you very much for inviting me to talk today. I'm doing fine myself. Couldn't be doing worse here. We're currently experiencing 21 degrees, so what more can you ask?
Perfect, man. Perfect. Well, yeah, I'm currently in Costa Rica. It's also pretty warm. So I think we both got the best side of the weather. Neither of us in the UK at the moment, which is which is good.
Abs Absolutely.
But yeah, well, so you're living at least somewhat on Bitcoin, on crypto, in on a day to day, and you spend Bitcoin. Like, what's it been like? Obviously, being in the UK, Portugal, Madeira, like, how different and how easy or hard is it to use Bitcoin and crypto in the UK and then also in sort of Portugal, Madeira area? Like, what's the differences between the two countries and regions?
Having both lived in both of the countries, I do believe that it's much easier here in Portugal to be living in crypto. Although that might change very soon in January, as Portugal is now introducing taxation on crypto gains and crypto holdings. In the UK, I most likely wouldn't be able to live off of crypto, mainly because the cost of living in the UK is far, far higher than the one that I currently am. Ever since COVID happened, I unfortunately got hit with all sorts of bad luck. I had a pulmonary embolism, meaning that I can't do any physical work, which is sadly the only type of work that is available here where I live. And then I lost my job previously. Previously, I was a property manager. So being in a position where I couldn't find any work and that there was no money coming in, I turned to the internet to look for sources of income. Like, what can I do? Like, I'm in this situation. What can I do? What tools can I use to take advantage of? What opportunities could I be presented if I basically play my cards right? I got introduced to crypto at early 2021. That was more or less when I was getting back on my feet, especially after going through my embolism. I was not going through a very good phase health wise, and that's when I started to recover. That's when I also started to look into crypto, mainly because at the time there was no taxation whatsoever on crypto. Whatever crypto you held, there was no taxes, there was nothing to declare, because Portugal did not see cryptocurrency as a whole as neither an asset nor a legal tender, so therefore you wouldn't have to pay tax. That, of course, will change now in January 2023, where there's a new proposed legislation and things might get a little bit more difficult, but not impossible.
Gotcha. Okay. And so when you got introduced to crypto in early 2021, what was it that obviously got you kind of involved? What was the thing that kind of made you realize, okay, yeah, this is an opportunity for me? Like, was there a specific resource or was it a specific, like, was it Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency? Like, what was the sort of thing that got you to really go, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is an opportunity for me to make some money.
So I started off with Bitcoin. Obviously, I had heard of Bitcoin previously, but I never paid much attention to it. And the reason I never paid much attention to it was because I thought that you could only have one Bitcoin, and one Bitcoin would be several thousands of pounds. And I was like, oh yeah, this is way out of my league. And then I found out that you can actually own fractions of Bitcoin. So talk about the dope moment. So once I found that out, I started looking things up. I eventually came across Zebedee platform. I started with them as in being part of the community earlier this year. Well, when I say earlier this year, it was like a few months ago, probably, I want to say maybe July, maybe, that I started off. And I just started off as a member of their community, engaging in playing, the games, being part of the community. I also engage in other activities that net me more crypto, and yeah, as a whole, I keep moving forward, and every day it's learning more and more about this ecosystem, and because it has enabled me to get this far, and I do believe it can get me much further than where I am today. So the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something, yeah, something pretty cool about it. Like I was speaking to not so long ago, and I was speaking to some of Mary Malzen and Coty, and they're both people that work with Thunder. Well, Coty works with Thunder Games, and Mary does like streaming for Bitcoin and things like that, and she works with some other Bitcoin companies online. And it's amazing to see how people can start to understand and learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and then kind of build up very slowly, like a way to self-sustain, like make a little bit of money, even if it's just a side income or whatever, and kind of gain some financial independence themselves, right? Through whether they do gaming and streaming or playing the games in tournaments or whatever it is. And so it like helps them slowly build up. Yeah, it's not like it's not like you're getting paid a shit ton to do this stuff, but like it's enough to kind of build yourself up and start getting somewhere and regaining financial independence. But yeah, as you say, I mean, you're obviously struggling with the situation with physical work, which, yeah, sorry to hear about the pulmonary embolism. That's never a good thing. And obviously it gives you an opportunity to kind of, I don't know, work through that and regain some independence from home to do stuff that you want to do, and make Bitcoin, which is pretty amazing. I guess like when it comes to Madeira, I heard that it's like becoming a kind of Bitcoin island or something like that, and that there's a lot more Bitcoin going on there. Like, what can you report? Like being there yourself, like, is that the case that it's kind of becoming more of a Bitcoin island thing, or do people still not really know about it? Who are in the island?
I do believe that Madeira will be a Bitcoin hub in the near future. We've had our president who attended the Miami Bitcoin conference, where he famously said, "I believe in the future and I believe in Bitcoin." One of the things that was mentioned as well was that so Madeira, even though it's part of Portugal, it is Portuguese territory. Madeira is considered its autonomous region with its own government. And one of the things that does give me a little bit of hope is that they are planning to introduce no taxation on Bitcoin for Madeiran residents. This is obviously good for it's obviously good for me who lives here, and I can take advantage of that. But I do believe that will also attract more business to the region, and as well in terms of tourism, because everyone has heard of the grand majority of people, when they hear of Madeira, they hear it as a touristic destination, and which is all nice. But what I do believe that the government is trying to push towards is that not only it's a lovely place with lovely sights and lovely food, it is also a place where you can invest, and who knows, maybe you can relocate here, make a living for yourself, and just enjoy life to the fullest.
Yeah, it's a good idea, and from the perspective of Madeira as a country, yeah, as you say, it makes a lot of sense to do this, right? Like bring people in. You can bring in new residents, and you can bring in new businesses, and you can, yeah, basically bring in more funds. People have seen how El Salvador has, obviously, arguably, because I'm not there on the ground right now, but from what I'm told, has become sort of safer and has seen more tourism and more investment, quite a lot since they brought in the Bitcoin law. Internationally, they've seen more investment, so it's really a way of like bringing in, opportunities to have more funds flowing into the economy in your local country, which is awesome. When it comes to like spending Bitcoin that you're earning, like, are there any tools that you're using to do that? Like, do you have like a crypto card, or like how do you generally like when are you usually spending your Bitcoin? Like, is it for like in-person stuff with people who accept it, or how are you kind of doing that?
So I've got two ways that I can use the crypto in terms of spending. The first one is I have a Visa card, which enables me if I have crypto in the wallet. So say, for example, I have 100 euros worth of Bitcoin. I can just go to any cash point that accepts Visa, and I can withdraw the equivalent of my wallet in fiat in euros basically. That is one, and that one is typically the main one that I use because it's fast and it's convenient. Obviously I have to pay the conversion fee from from the Bitcoin to the euros, but the fee is generally small, and it's what you pay to literally have it there in access. The other one is I use the gift cards as well. So for example, I don't have a hub where I can pay for my phone because I live in kind of like a remote part of the island. So for me to be able to pay my phone, I would have to travel quite a bit to pay for it. So I can use a gift card literally, and I can pay it with the comfort of my own house. Basically that's the and yeah, it is Bitrefill that I used to pay for my phone. Those are the two main ones, and whenever I have like a surplus of crypto, or I don't see myself spending the crypto, I tend to invest it so I can generate returns on it, and hopefully start building that financial independence sat by sat.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like I was talking to some of my colleagues here the other day, and I kind of realized that how like a lot of people, with your fiat world, pre-Bitcoin or even during Bitcoin, you have like your savings account and then you have your kind of spending account, right? Like most people have like a current account and a savings account. And I realized that I'd kind of done that with Bitcoin. Like I have like a wallet that I use to just stack and that's it. And then I have like a separate wallet where I'm spending all the time, whether it's Bitrefill or like lending some money to a friend or paying for like a contractor for an event I'm hosting, whatever it is. I have like a spending Bitcoin wallet. And then I have my same. I hadn't like thought about it that way, but it's kind of like I've done the same thing as I would in fiat. So I imagine you have the same thing where you're trying to like rack up some sats, but also you've got some that you've got to spend to live, I guess. But yeah, it's certainly amazing what Bitcoin's managed to do. Like when it comes to before Bitcoin, obviously, as you said, you had this sort of tragic situation that put you in this state. But with Bitcoin and kind of like the future, where do you see things? Where do you see things going for yourself and for like the Bitcoin world? Do you think it's going to become easier and easier to spend, and do you think regulations are going to become more helpful? And do you feel like things are going to go in a more positive direction? Or in your opinion, do you kind of have more fears than you do positivity about the situation with Bitcoin and regulations and countries and taxation? Of them.
Overall, I do feel that Bitcoin is going in a positive direction. Over the time that I started over, for example, with ZBD, I've seen a ever increasing amount of users coming in, and that is people from literally all over the world. People who they either come through and they know they know their stuff. They're crypto veterans. They know all that there is to and more. And you also have new people, young and old, coming in and just asking, so what is this whole thing all about, really? Is it just a get rich quick scheme, or what is the idea behind it, really? And for some people, it just means that they can have an asset that it can't be taken away from them. For others, it can be a means to supplement their income to be able to support them, which is in my case, even though I don't have a primary income, I basically live off of crypto. My expenses are kept to a very, very, very minimum. I'm a very frugal spender. And because I do live like that, I am able to live off of whatever little crypto I make out of. This being said, I can see this becoming a whole new ecosystem for example, for people who do remote working, for example, where say that you're in Costa Rica where you have one currency, but you are living in Brazil, which would be a different currency. You could easily get paid in Bitcoin where it would be accepted in both places, and you don't have to worry about, for example, swapping fees. And you have that there access to you. You can literally take your Bitcoin and pay for whatever you want in Costa Rica, and the same thing whether you were in the other part of the world. I can see it become more and more mainstream the more as soon as the fears go away. I think that one of the reasons people don't have the greater faith into it is because the price is volatile. I think and every Bitcoin that you hold, whatever amount it is tied directly to its fiat value, and that's what gives it its its importance. So when people see that Bitcoin is, for example, 20,000 and then it drops down to 17, they feel fear. They feel fear because you spend quite a lot of time and energy trying to save up 20 grand, and then suddenly you lost 3 grand with just like that. And a lot of people feel that fear. They don't want that. Sure, it's nice when you spend 20 grand, it goes like to 28 and you made like 8,000. It's nice, it's great, it's all sunshine and rainbows, but there's a reason why losses stick to us much longer than wins. And until Bitcoin becomes the main value, as in you are not having it tethered to like euros or dollars or whatever. So like you go to a shop, for example, and you want to buy something, you pay whatever amount it says in sats, not like it's equivalent in euros, because I think that is what a common user would go and see it. Obviously, behind the scenes, you know that the sats will be equivalent to a certain amount of euros, because otherwise the business is just, it's just going to end up losing money. There has to be a logic system behind it. But overall, I do think it's going in a positive way, and more people are adopting it, inclusive people who are not technological savvy at all.
That's true. And yeah, I've definitely found, yeah, I mean, as you pointed out, like for my situation from the UK, so bank account there and whatever, in Brazil, so nearly bank account in Brazil, somewhat, like financially there, but on holiday and well, working holiday in Costa Rica. Yes, like I got to deal with like three different currencies. And so, yeah, you're right. Like if you have Bitcoin and you're able to spend it in those countries quite easily, it makes life a hell of a lot easier. And I think a lot of people are beginning to realize that. And that's for sure. When it comes to the I guess the actual communities, like I don't know how many like meetups you were able to attend or whatever. I guess I'd assume not many in the UK, but because of the situation you're in. But like when it comes to like the people in Madeira and Portugal and people in England, like how how many people that do you meet in person who are sort of into Bitcoin and crypto? And like, have you been to any meetups in Madeira or anything like that, and met up with people who, or been to any conferences for people who are into these things?
No, sadly, no. Like I mentioned previously, ever since I had the my health issues, I've been pretty much at home, and then there was the whole COVID pandemic, and there was a huge fear here. Like I also mentioned previously, Madeira is known for its tourism, and with COVID, everything was shut down, and everyone confined to their houses. I tried to look after my elderly parents as well, so that was also another reason why I choose to isolate myself as well. Not so much for myself because I'm relatively healthy now, but it's mostly because of them, because they're considered at risk because of their age. So I never had the chance to really meet like-minded people in person, but I've had the pleasure of meeting them online, such as like calls like this one, for example, and where I was able to talk to people who knew more about it than I did, and it was fascinating. Like things that I never thought would be possible, and then they're just opening your mind to new things, to new horizons, and it's brilliant. I've also had the chance to be able to educate people on what I know, and to bring them into the correct direction. I've also tried to explain to them like the main pitfalls, because it's very easy when you're starting off, and there's like so many things, and there's so many gaps and cracks that you can fall into. And sadly, there is that, for example, with Bitcoin, one of the things that we do at Zebedee is with Bitcoin in the Lightning Network. And I've seen people sending Bitcoin on the Lightning Network to a Bitcoin main address. No, sorry, main network, which obviously means they're going to end up, because they haven't converted from one network to another, that means that they're going to lose out on funds. So that is the main point that I try to bring out to people. And I do believe that having a way that people can just skip, for example, the Lightning Network straight into either a Visa card, where they can just cash out their sats, or having their sats being sent to their bank account, for example, or being able to use gift cards as well, to to facilitate them and to prevent them from from having their funds lost, because once the funds are sent, you can't recover them. That's just tragic.
Yeah, it's a kind of, yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's an awesome part of Bitcoin, and it's also sometimes a horrible part of it. But yeah, I guess, I mean, as you say, finding ways to make Bitcoin and the Lightning Network and these things simpler and easier, and have simpler off ramps that work better with less fees, is kind of like the goal we need to work towards, making sure that everyone is at least somewhat comfortable in using these tools, even if you're not technically minded. That's very true. I guess I've got one last question for you before we look to wrap up, which is, and I guess for anyone out there listening, Zebedee basically does sort of gaming tournaments and allows people to game and win and earn Bitcoin in exchange for that. That's obviously a very basic rundown of what they do, but check out Zebedee to sort of find out more about it. You can play CS:GO, for example, and can win sats and Bitcoin. But yeah, so my question for you is like, and it's quite a recent thing, but have you had a chance to use the Bitrefill integration at all, like on Zebedee yet, at all? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Did you mean integration with the wallet, as in use the wallet directly to buy the gift cards? Because what I do is I send them to Bitrefill, and then I get my my card to pay for my phone.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So there's an integration that we have with our widget, like directly on Zebedee now, that like, yeah, allows people to basically purchase gift cards direct from Zebedee, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a recent thing, which is why I thought, oh, I'll ask you to see if you've had a chance to like check it out yet. But yeah, that's the integration as far as I know. I haven't actually checked it out myself yet. I saw a demo, but I haven't actually gone and had a look myself.
I'm gonna definitely try having a look, because
Yeah, go for it.
if there's that feature, that's gonna be a most welcome thing. Like I said, there's just so many things that you could be a part of, and you are not even aware that they're there. So like I said, every day it's always about learning new things and improving the already known infrastructure to improve the user's life, and make things much more mainstream.
Yeah, agreed. It's a key feature is for everyone to. I think this is something the Bitcoin community does really well to lots of other communities that I've ever been in. Is like, hey, let's share our knowledge between us, and let's remove barriers and paid barriers and all these things, and let's just share the knowledge that people have with others who are either less or better informed than we are, about how transactions work, fees, what tools are useful for people, and so yeah, this is it's a big part of why I think doing this podcast is important, because I'm sure many people learn from different countries how to manage their Bitcoin, how to spend it, like what they need to look out for. So yeah, I think it's a vital thing. Well, hey, I mean, look, Rux, it's been awesome to have you on. I really appreciate you coming to chat to us about your experiences in life, and how that led you to Bitcoin, and how you've been living on crypto a little bit, and kind of the tools you've been using. But I think anyone out there will find it interesting to understand and to get a better idea of what it's like, the differences between the UK and Madeira and Portugal and your experiences. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to say or get involved anywhere people can find you before you head out?
Well, if you want to find out more about me, I stream on Twitch, where I allow actually people to earn some Bitcoin to their wallets, to their Zebedee wallet. And you know, if you have any questions about it and I can help out, you can find me there. You can also find me on the Zebedee Discord as well, where I'm happy to take any questions and just generally help out. My inbox is always open. So if you've got any questions, just feel free to say hello, and we'll see what can be done.
Awesome. And what is your Twitch name?
My Twitch name is TV Rocks TV.
Nice.
Because at the time they didn't allow me to just have one TV. The nickname was too short. They didn't allow 3 characters, so I had to improvise a little bit there.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, yeah, I'll get it written on the description of this as well on YouTube and things like that. But well, yeah, again, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming in to do this. It's been awesome. And I'm sure everyone out there listening has enjoyed it too. Thank you, everyone who's still listening. We really appreciate you listening to these and learning about different people's lives and their experiences living on Bitcoin. So whether it's today, tomorrow, have an amazing day, week, month, year. Keep loving life, keep being happy, and keep buying Bitcoin. We'll see you later. Take care.
See you later. Take care. Thank you very much for having me.